Yes. Woo, indeed. And good job, person who was clapping last. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. Oh, my goodness. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We're here live at the Build Studio in New York City, and we are thoroughly pumped this Friday. Nickelodeon's new music competition series, America's Most Musical Family, premieres at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on like every channel, so you're not going to be able to miss it. The show features 30 families of 2 or more relatives who perform together, competing for the chance to win $250,000 in cash. That's right, a cash prize worth over $250,000 is huge, and they get a recording contract with Republic Records. Stakes are high, my friends, in this show. I got a chance to see the first episode. It's amazing. Everybody's super talented. It's so good. Joining me here shortly to tell me all about it, believe it or not, I got host Nick Lachey. You want to make some noise for host Nick Lachey? That's a great get right there. And, oh my God, can you believe it? Judges David Dobrik, Ciara, and Debbie Gibson are here. Come on. You can see why they're wooing. It's a big deal. We're going to bring them all out in just a second. But first, my friend Kate here has told me we have a peek at the show. Is that right, Kate? Confirmed. So let's go ahead and run that clip.
Yeah, I have a question. What are your family parties like? I can't imagine.
A lot of music. Dad says it's a festival now, but
It's like a jamboree.
Family festival. It's awesome.
Hey guys, I just have one question. Can you guys adopt me? I joined the group, and then we can call it the next generation Lachey. Rolling, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, make a ridiculous amount of noise. Come on, I got David Dobrik, I got Ciara, I got Debbie Gibson, and Nick Lachey. Keep going.
Hi, guys.
Woo! Again, one more time. I bet you we could do that for at least another 30 minutes. I think we could.
Keep it going.
You want to do one more?
One more? Why not? We're here. Even better.
Okay. We'll come back to that. They're excited. I'm excited. I got a chance to see this show. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
What a fantastic show. I'm so excited to talk. How's everybody doing? I was starting
Really good.
Debbie, David, Nick. We're all great.
Yeah,
Feeling
great. Could be
Feeling
better.
amazing. Really happy to be here and super excited about the show.
Very exciting times. It premieres this Friday. Everybody's super pumped. We're right at that. We're on the cusp of the world discovering and seeing the show. Do you get like pre-show jitters in a moment like this when something's about to premiere? How are you feeling? Going
You know, I think in this case, I'm just super excited. I feel like I kind of get like pre-show jitters when I'm going to actually be on the stage performing. Right. But in this case, I just have like this incredibly calm and excited feeling happening at the same time because this show is so special and it's one of a kind, first ever family-only music competition show. And I'm just ready to see all the feedback from the families and, you know, people getting to see all the amazing talent that we were all able to see. So
yes, it feels like we've been almost like keeping this big secret for a while. Like we've seen the acts, obviously, and like you guys are about to be privy to the amazing talent. Like, it is insane how many talented siblings, fathers, daughters, mothers, grandmothers. I mean, we were kind of like, hey, Nickelodeon execs, can you put anyone in who sucked to make our decisions easier? Because, like, every show, all the talent was off the charts, and the hardest thing was eliminating anybody. I mean, you're going to, I think, be amazed and probably a lot. I'm sure you're all music fans out there. Yes, I'm a music fan. Yes.
Go music.
I think you're going to walk away with some new favorite acts, you know, to follow, which is exciting because then you get to be a part of, like, helping build their careers from the beginning. And that's a big, exciting thing about this show.
One of the things that blew me away from the first episode is not just the level of talent, but also the diversity of genres of music that's represented.
Yeah.
Just in the first episode, you had like R&B a cappella, you had country, you had pop, you had rock. There was something for everyone, and everyone really bringing it. That's got to make the judging process exceedingly difficult. How do you compare apples to oranges? What does your criteria become at that point?
You know, I think it just boils down to like what left an impact on you. You know, like how did an artist make you feel when you saw them performing? Because that is a true thing. That's a real factor. Like the genres are like far left and right from each other sometimes. But it was like, what did that person make me feel? Like, did they bring it? Did they own the stage? Did they bring the right energy? do I remember how they moved? Do I remember what they were singing? Did they like really like embed it in my mind? You know, I think that's ultimately, you know, what you kind of look back to. And I always say a star's gonna shine like a star. So did they have that star factor? They had that it factor, you know?
And
They connect.
thankfully the audience had the final vote. So we didn't yeah, oh my gosh, I remember the first episode when the first like family would go home, and I just remember, you know, there's crying that goes on because it's a pretty sad thing. I remember sitting in my car, like I just feel like I just killed somebody. Like I felt so bad. It was just like the saddest thing because they're all so talented, and then to see somebody go home, it's like So yeah,
We actually had to get someone to drive David home. He was so.
I was sobbing.
We had to call in a driver
Yeah, Nick,
to get him there.
Nick,
Nick
man,
drove me home.
you, sir, are no stranger to hosting. You've hosted a couple of things before. What was it about this show that got you excited that said, yes, this is where I want to go next. This is something I want to be a part of?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, it was I was in a group with my brothers, so I felt like I kind of came from a unique perspective for a show like this. You know, I was excited about the fact that it had never been done before, and I thought to myself, how in the world did no one ever come up with this before? It's, you know, it's pretty surreal that an idea like this has not been done to this point. But that's what really drew me to it. You know, music. I love great talent. I love music. I love being around people trying to discover their dream because there's something really refreshing about seeing that in its truest form. I mean, these people love to sing. They love music. That's what you know, brought them to our stage. And it's nice to be a part of something that celebrates that and helps to prop that up and propel them into the next chapter of their life. So. You know, as you said earlier, I mean, so many different genres, but the one consistent thing across the board was the quality was just unbelievable. I came into it thinking we're going to get some good groups. I never thought in a million years we get so many great groups across the board. And the other through line I want to point out is just because they're family, there was a real sense of like love and unity. You could feel the you know, the real connection that all of them had on the stage, which is, it just comes naturally because they're family. And you know, when you put a group together, you audition members, you have to build that. But when you're a family, it just comes naturally. It was really cool to see.
Being a host, did you ever find yourself in a tough position where you don't get to vote, you don't get to make a call, somebody you're rooting for, you're really hoping they make it, but the judges go a different way?
Yeah, I don't know what these guys were thinking sometimes. I'm backstage, I'm like, no, I wouldn't have done that. No, honestly, I'm very thankful for the fact that I didn't have to be a part of that because those deliberations, I can only imagine, and I was not in them, but I can only imagine that they were intense and hard because, truthfully, there were so many incredible groups, and to try and differentiate between the two and decide who should go and who should, it had to be pretty grueling.
I think the longest deliberation was like an hour. I mean, literally, yeah, because... I mean, and again, you know, it was great to hear Ciara's point of view, David's point of view. Like, David's coming at it from being a music fan and, like, he knows what people are looking for online. And you know, we were looking at all, you know, star quality, but there was also, like, technical aspect and also, like, we know what it takes, like, to, you know, to have longevity in the business. And you're looking at acts going, okay, like, are they going to connect with an audience for the next 50 years? And how can they grow musically? There's a lot to take into consideration. And you really realize, like, these acts' future is in your hands at that moment. And we all took the decision-making very seriously, and the executives did not try to sway us. Like, it came down to us and then the audience, and that was it. And so it's a very honest show.
It's a lot of responsibility, yeah. That you're deciding their fate, their future in that moment, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, they took a long time. I went out and got a bite to eat. Came back. They're still deliberating. It just went on.
Where do the bands go? What does the audience do? They're all just sitting there waiting, I guess, right?
They're waiting, they're dancing.
That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is that somebody's job to keep the crowd hype while you guys deliberate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a great
Yeah,
crowd.
a really great hype man. He was
Ruby
really
got me
good.
hyped.
Like,
Yeah.
That's a tough job.
that is really a
You
talent,
warmed
though.
up the kids
to-
and then me also. Yeah.
It's a talent to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, the kids, I mean, they were just, the energy of kids in the room is like amazing, just that alone. It's pretty cool.
Sierra, you talk about how the executives didn't get in the way or anything like that. Sierra, you're also an executive producer on this show. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
It's amazing. Did that, yes, woman, I'll hold for applause.
Yeah.
She's a superwoman. This woman is a force of nature. Like,
so sweet.
No, seriously, I'm watching her. It's like she is like the epitome of the woman spinning the plates. It's like she's a wife, she's a mother, she's an executive, she's a performer, and it's really commendable. And then she's a total doll and sweetheart while doing it, and it's just an example
You're so sweet.
of what you
Thank
can be.
you.
Yeah, no, it's just true.
Yay.
See what a loving family we are, too? Like,
Nick is great, too.
thanks, David.
Go ahead, throw some adjectives
You're not
out
half
there,
bad either, David.
Tell us about Nick.
I've never seen you spin plates, but I'll just not assume you can do it. Yeah.
So sweet.
What I wanted to know was, what came first, or did it all happen at once? That you were going to be a judge and executive producer, or were you an executive producer and you said, you know what, I really want to be a judge on this show as well? Like, what's that
It
story?
was definitely kind of a combination of the two at once. It was just the right thing. And when I talked to the team at Nickelodeon and we were talking about the concept, and I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. And I've been wanting to do projects like this, and it has been a long time dream of mine to also get active in the production space with television and film. And so this is my first one of its kind. And so I'm so proud, and it really is a blessing and honor to be a part of such an amazing show that I really believe will be around for years and years and years. It'll be the show that keeps on giving. And then, it's kind of like, it's just so good that you just can't get enough of it. But it's super exciting. And it's just really, really fun also to be with this amazing team here. I mean, it's been great energy across the board, and I just can't wait to see families talk about this. I really can't wait.
Nick, you mentioned earlier, of course, you performed music with your brother. Debbie, I think you played music with your family growing up as well. Is that?
Oh, yeah. My sisters and I were the Gibson girls.
That's right.
We did a mean matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match from Fiddler on the Roof. And we did we did the circuit. We were 4 of the 7 Von Trapps in The Sound of Music. But they were always like pushing me out front. My sisters were like, you take the high note, you take the solo. Eventually they were like, we don't want to go to the audition. We want to build a float for the, for the student council or whatever. And I was the one who was like, I want to go in the audition. I was just always the one that wanted to do it professionally, but we had a lot of fun. And my dad sings. My dad actually grew up in a foster care home for boys in Far Rockaway. And 4 of the boys formed a barbershop quartet. So I joke that he has an amazing voice and no rhythm, because he'd be like, goodbye, my Coney Island baby. But he was moving, snapping, and singing in 3 different tempos. But his voice is amazing, and he used to sing us to sleep. And I got my love of music really from him. And my mom always loved music but doesn't sing. But yeah, so we were a very musical family. Yeah. So I can relate when I see these families, and I think they're like legitimately just sitting around the living room and doing this for the joy of it. And that's kind of what I looked for in the winners. I wanted to see the families that were really inspired and really connected to the music and to each other through the music.
There were moments where I think, when we watched families and after they performed and you saw them more and more, you felt like you wanted to go into their living room with them at their house. Yeah. Like, I want to go have dinner with this family. Like, I want to know more about you. You make me feel like you're hugging me when you're singing. It's a special thing, right?
I feel like it's
really
also important to mention that there was families that were like 2 people in the family, and then there were families that had 20 people in it. So like it felt intimate, and then it was like a block party. And
dad and daughter duo, dad and daughter duo. Then there's like a 9-year-old, a family that was like multi-generational, from starting with like a 9-year-old to like a 7-year-old grandmother. Like, I mean, you have like
blended families.
families.
There was a father and
triplets.
son that did death metal. I had never experienced death metal live till the show, but it was about like there was a mariachi band and the lead singer was 11,
and he was like 11.
He rocked it.
I don't want to say. I don't want to give anything away, but it was like fire. That's all.
Yeah, but again, it's so neat that like these acts are bringing their culture to the stage, and hopefully, especially showing younger people that that's cool. They're like creating their own lane for their music, which is really unique.
You can even feel the family love through the death metal.
Yeah.
You could. They were like,
not saying something.
a lot of passion.
Yes. I mean, is that, I guess, and we kind of talked about this at the start, but that's ultimately when you're comparing death metal to mariachi, that's what you have to look at, right? Is the love there? Is the passion there? And
do they cut through?
Yeah.
Right? Do they cut through? Do they translate? Does it read? Can it impact you, right? Make you feel something special?
Yes.
But truly, no matter what kind of music interests you, no matter what kind of family you come from, I promise you there is some family on this show that you will relate to, you will identify with.
Yeah.
And you can't help but deny that just the sheer quality of what these people do and these families do, it was really, it just blew me away. I was expecting good. I wasn't expecting the level that we got on the show, which is awesome.
How much have you guys filmed? Have you filmed the whole season yet or no?
Maybe.
Oh my God, do you know who wins?
Maybe.
They wipe my memory.
Play it safe.
They wipe me clean, so I can't say
You have to
anything.
sit and you have to watch and see what happens.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's really good.
David, what went through your mind, man, when you found out you were going to be sitting judging amongst? You're all right.
What were you thinking?
No, but like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're sitting next to icons and legends, these pop music, like royalty, and it's like, all right, what am I going to bring to the table? What's my perspective? How am I going to contribute
I
to
guess my
this?
perspective was that I love music, like like anybody else, and I feel like they are very technical with like how they can critique somebody, and I'm kind of more like, hey, are you having fun? Are you confident out there? Like, are you putting on a show? But just being around them is like being around these three is it's like being around superheroes who like it's great, and it's very it makes me feel like I need to start learning how to sing, because just when they start harmonizing, it's the most beautiful thing. But I don't know how to add to that or contribute. But it's very, very fun to be around them.
I don't say this just for David's benefit. He brought more to the show than you could possibly imagine, and it's the perspective.
Yeah, he did.
It was so refreshing, because we all come from musical backgrounds, and it's we have a certain perspective, but his perspective was fresh and new and really, really important to the process of the show. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, you'll see like there's different kids that like there's some kids that are kind of like shy behind the mic, and then there's kids that will like go up to the audience and like taking command of the stage, and it's like those are the people that anybody loves watching, is like the people that are making it their own show.
Well, the one thing I think we all kind of learned, or at least I can say from my perspective, is if David was in a group, that group was definitely going #1. Because those kids and the girls in the audience was like, every day.
A lot of David Dobrik
killing it with the girls.
Yeah.
Can I get your candy?
9 to 12-year-old.
I mean, it was
Work
so,
was the best.
you said what? What'd you say?
I said work was the best.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
it was a lot of fun.
For sure. I didn't mean, I hope I didn't downplay.
Oh, no,
like,
not
your
at all.
country.
No,
Okay,
not at all.
cool.
No,
I
but
think
David
you
really-
bring a great voice to the show.
Yeah,
No,
he
no.
represents
Great
the music
perspective.
fan. Yeah.
I think it's like the objective perspective. You know, we're artists, so we're in it, and you know, it's kind of cool when you're just like not attached to it the way that we are. He can just really see things from like the true everyday person's perspective, and I think that's
one of the biggest fans of American
really
Idol.
huge.
So you're looking at a guy that would go to school the next day and critique all the people that were on Idol. So I've been kind of doing this my entire life.
All of your training is
Training for this
Yeah,
moment.
it's a big deal.
Was there something in your deliberation and in your talk, like, because everyone on the stage has found their success at different moments in time across different decades and different periods. So, but is there something universal that that you all sort of, despite your different perspectives, that you all identified or you were all looking for and on the same page about?
I identified with, I think the first thing that just came to my mind is the challenge, or like when things may not go as you would hope for them to go. You know, I really felt for the families that didn't advance on, but I also identify with them because I was that person that I auditioned for a few opportunities, or I don't want to say many, but I had some moments where it was like supposed to be my big moment and it didn't happen. And I could totally relate to that person in that moment. And I actually love those moments because those moments, they help build, adversity builds character. You know, it helps build who you are. It gave me strength. It gave me wisdom. It prepared me for my next move. And so I really lived, you know, even though it was unfortunate, I can say I live for those moments because there's an opportunity for someone to grow in those moments, you know, and I was that girl, you know, so that was really cool, being able to pass down nuggets of wisdom and just simply encourage someone to know that all it takes is one person to believe. When you have a dream, all it takes is one person, and that person is you. And if you believe in your dream, it's really possible. Like that's like the start and finishing mark is within you, and that's a real thing. So it felt really good to be able to share those nuggets with them. And, you know, I would say, like, your next chapter, make it your best chapter. Like, to be on that stage and have that platform as big as, it doesn't get any bigger than this. You know, they're going to have, even if they didn't advance, they already built new fans in that moment, you know. And so there's a lot of positives to come out of the moment that felt like it was a failure, because it really wasn't, right? It was like their biggest platform they had ever been on to that point. So I really lived for moments like that, you know, just being able to encourage someone, you know, and yeah, that's one of my moments that came to my mind.
Yeah, no, I was just going to expound on what you said, because you said a lot of what I would have said. But I know I tried to tell the kids and the families that, like, I mean, when I started, I was like, I won a songwriting contest when I was 12 or 13. And the prize was to be on the Joe Franklin show, which aired at like 3 in the morning on a not very popular network. So like the prize of just being on television itself is the prize. Like you're getting to perform in front of millions of people and you're getting this moment. And so, you know, I think we all tried to encourage them beyond like, did you get through to the next round? It was like, listen, go celebrate what you've just accomplished. Because only 30 acts from the whole country got on the show to begin with. You know, Nickelodeon like sifted through thousands of submissions, so it was really an incredible thing. But I do agree that like, you know, you have to have that belief in yourself. You have to have, I think something we all have in common is everybody here has worked hard to get where they are. Like none of us have been handed anything, and so I do think we are very encouraging of that. You know, in these acts to say, keep going. There's no like magic trick to it. It's put the work in, keep going. And kind of whoever stays in it is going to eventually.
I just told them all backstage, I said, no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, walk away knowing you got to hang with David Dobrik.
There's the prize.
I thought it was gonna be
Nothing
really
else
deep.
matters.
That's the victory. There you go.
I'm a cooler aunt because of that, by the way. Way cooler. Way more street cred.
We're going to turn it over to the audience for questions in just a second. We got a couple in the room, a couple on Twitter. But before we do, Debbie, I wanted to congratulate you because this year was the 30th anniversary of Electric Youth. It's huge. I'm going to hold for applause. I mean, that's so cool. And you celebrated in a really cool way where you reached out to your fans through social media with the EY30 hashtag. You made the scrapbook. What was it like to see the response of all those fans that had their copy of the record, that had their cassette, that came back out and showed you how much that record meant to them?
I literally, now part of it's that I'm overtired, but you're making me well up with tears because no, I mean, listen, I was on the mixtape tour all summer and speaking to that, like I kept going on social thanking fans for over 3 decades of music and loyalty. Like it's just, I mean, when I started in the business, I looked up to those artists that lasted like, you know, more than a decade or 2 or 3. I mean, to be one of those artists now is like, it's not wasted on me. Like the gratitude I have for the fact that the fans are so loyal and the fact that I get to be a part of a career, like music truly is the soundtrack to people's lives. And it's like part of all of our DNA. Like it's like when someone comes up and shares a memory, a music memory with any of us musical artists and they say, you know, I broke up with my boyfriend and then this song came on at the prom and I danced at the prom with this. I mean, and all of those things, it's like without knowing all of you guys who maybe had that memory with me, like I was there with you. Yeah. And that's so profound. And, you know, like, so hearing those stories and seeing the fans like with their memories and that I was a part of their life in some way and still am is astounding to me.
In this year of reflection and all the celebration, what's your favorite memory from that time when you think back?
Ooh, gosh, you know, I flash back to that tour because that tour for me was like, and again, a lot of what Ciara was saying, I visualized a lot for myself, like even to the point that I drew the castle set that became the video set, you know. And so to like draw a castle and then walk in and see it actually built by professional set designers. And it's like, this is my life. It's crazy, you know, and the tour. I also just flash back to, I opened at Wembley Stadium for Bros, Matt and Luke Goss, and they're my dear friends still of over 30 years, and Salt and Pepper was on that bill. That was a moment. I mean, to you know, grateful to those guys for that. Like just, like I saw the Queen movie last year, and they show that perspective of looking out at the crowd at Wembley. And when I saw the movie, I went, holy crap, that was me on that stage. Like I saw this from this vantage point and singing songs that I like wrote in my bedroom as a little girl. And again, it just is like to anyone watching out there who is in their bedroom writing songs, doing demos on GarageBand or whatever you're doing demos on these days. I was lining tape recorders up on the ironing board and attempting to multi-track record. But you know, you literally can take it from that to this. And like, that is just, it's quite a journey. It's really amazing.
Thank you for sharing that. And
yeah.
Thank you for indulging that. And you get to see part of that journey for all of these families and kids. Are you? Oh, my God.
I do. I get really emotional. I may get really emotional over it. I just, you know, I'm just one of the lucky people who get to live my dream every day. you know. So
she's also one of the hardest working people you'll ever run into. So to her point earlier, I mean, and that's something we tried to instill in all these groups. Your journey is only just beginning. You know what I mean? Like with a lot of hard work and continuing to follow that dream. It can be your journey.
Yeah, that's part of the excitement of watching the show is you get to, as a viewer, be present for the beginning of that journey. You see the talent. You know, a lot of these people. This is just the start. You're going to see more of them. And thank you for finding all these wonderful acts and bringing them to us and bringing them into our living rooms, man. This Friday it premieres. You can't miss it. It's on like every channel. 7 o'clock this Friday. And you think I'm joking, but I'm serious. It's going to be on Nickelodeon, but like it's going to be on every channel. You can check it out. 7 o'clock this Friday it premieres. You're going to be hooked. I'm telling you right now. All right, before they kick me out of here, I want to get some questions from the audience. We got at least 3. You got microphones. Nice. Let's do it up.
Bring it.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. My question is for Debbie. Since you've been a judge before in other competition shows, but you've also been a competitor, like on Star Search and Dancing with the Stars, which side of the table do you find more challenging, being judged or judging?
Ooh, well, interestingly, so I got rejected from Star Search 11 times, which I liked to tell the kids. I never even made it to the television telecast. And by the way, it was a lot of my original songs I auditioned with. That I was told would never be hits. So case in point, I find it way easier to be on this side. But because I've been on the other side, and because I did theater my whole life, so I was constantly auditioning and being judged and given feedback. I think that has made me like more sensitive to what the artists are feeling on the other side of it, for sure. I mean, it's a very vulnerable, brave position to put yourselves in, to be putting out yourself and your art to be critiqued in front of the world. I mean, it's very bold. I just think it's one of the most noble things you can do is to be an artist. So I come at it with a lot of love, nurturing, and constructive criticism, because you also don't want to just say, hey, that was great. I don't want anyone telling me everything I do is great, because it's not. You know, so I'd like to just give everyone something to walk away with maybe and work on for the next time. But definitely, I get nervous even thinking about those competition shows and being on the other side.
Thank you.
It's nerve-wracking.
Great question. Thank you. We got 2 more. Go for it.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So I first wanted to just start off and say, like, all of you are so iconic in music, and even David, like, you've influenced. Like, I started listening to AJR because you put it in your video. So all of you are like so iconic and influential. But I wanted to ask, has this project been more difficult, or like, can you compare it to other things you guys have done in the past?
Well, I could say for me, it's been really fun. This is like, you know, there's a saying that you never work a day in your life when you love what you do, or you never work a day. Yeah, that's right. When when I was like, am I saying it right? When you love what you do, and in this case, when I, would come to work, I was so excited. Like, I was like a little kid, like, who's gonna be on the stage today? Like, who's gonna be the new acts? And what's going to happen? Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. Someone's going to get voted off. What are the fans going to do? Because the cool thing about our show is that the fans actually, it's cool, unique, and it's also like, whoa, because literally the kids in the audience are voting. They make the final decision. And so, but I was just so excited every day to come to set and to see the amazing talent that you see on this stage. I mean, there's literally groups where there's 3 brothers in this group, and like each of them can play almost up to 7 instruments. There's, there's so much talent. Like, there's one group where there's like twin boys that I don't think I'm gonna say too much by saying this, but I'm like they look like 2 mini John Travoltas, and I'm like,
Yeah,
like it's crazy though, because I'm like, they're stars. Like, it's just so much talent left and right, and for me, I was so excited to also know that we're here as judges and we're part of this experience in this way, but we're also having the chance to be a part of someone's journey. Like, to say, I was a part of that. Like, I remember when they came on this stage and they auditioned, and I mean, they were killing it, and they made it. And look at them now, like, to get a recording deal with Republic Records, one of the best labels in the world, literally in the world. And they also get $250,000, which is really cool, just because it's just amazing. I was going to say something, but I can't say it because you got to wait till the show. But it's amazing. It's really cool. So
yeah, we got to be in the presence of greatness every day. and even like there were mainly kids in the audience, but there were adult sections, and to see like an all kid group and then a group of adults from the back spontaneously give a standing ovation, because you just knew you were in the presence of greatness. I mean, so yeah, I felt the same way. It did.
Yeah.
This show felt like a gift. It didn't feel like work at all.
I used to host a show called The Sing Off, and I remember the first time that I heard Pentatonics perform, and there was a feeling that came over me, and I said, that I just witnessed something that's going to be historic and legendary. And I'm not BSing you when I tell you I had that feeling multiple times on this show. You can't deny talent, and there's a certain thing that happens. You say, wow, I just witnessed something that's really, really rare and special, and it certainly happened on our show. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
question. We're going to do one more question. So let's go. You got a microphone.
mas.
Go for it.
Hi guys, oh my god. First of all, iconic crew. Okay. Sorry. David, love your vlogs, but
Thanks.
question not for you, sorry. Ciara, oh my god. You really do it all. Like executive producer, singer, dancer, and I heard you're the creative director for kids at Finish Line, and I used to work at Finish Line, and like
nice.
sneakers are my favorite thing, so I just want to know how you did it.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much. For my life, I call it organized chaos. The way that I make everything work is a schedule. It's so simple, but the most effective thing in life is marking down how my life is going to flow, because I really love every part. Department, first mom and wife. Those two, first. My family is my foundation, and I love my career. So I wake up knowing that I'm blessed every day to do exactly what I want to do, and so I'm committed to all those things. And I really believe the lesson that I've learned is trying my best not to take on more than I can chew. I think when my plate feels like it's going to be overloaded, then I'm like, okay, what can I move here? Like, let's not get too crazy. Like, I'm a woman of ambition on a mission. There's a lot I want to do, but let's figure out how to balance this thing out, because I need to be mommy when I need to be. I need to be wifey when I need to be. And I need to be boss lady when I need to be. So it's organized chaos. It's a balancing act. But, I'm just committed. I think the key for me and success in my life is that I decided at a young age, I want to create clarity. And I really believe that you can't get anywhere you want to get to in life without a compass. And so when I was young, I was like, I need to set a compass for like my world and where I want to get to. And I believe that because I kind of focus, like I make the list. I'm a big believer in goal sheets. I still do goal sheets till this day. The first goal sheet of my life literally is why I sit here today. I was 13 years old, 13 going on 14. I was trying to decide what I want to do in my life after school, and I had 3 goals that I wrote down, and I said, well, it was like time to start registering for college, and I ran track, but I wasn't the fastest girl on the block, so I'm like, I'm not going to be an Olympic track runner. I'm going to keep it real with myself. I was a cheerleader, and I was like, this is great, but this is not the end-all, be-all. But I was like, I know I can sing. I know I can dance. I think I can do this. And immediately, I sat within my own space. I wrote down 3 goals. First goal was to get discovered. And then once I got discovered, the second goal was to sell 3 to 4 million albums. And the third goal was to have longevity. And no lie, I got discovered literally 2 weeks after I wrote that down, because I was like, I know I can sing and dance. Someone at the lunch table I sat with, remembered me saying, I want to be a singer, blah, blah, blah. And there was a group that needed a 3rd member. I auditioned for it, made the group. Clearly the group didn't last, but that was a start for me. And then I signed with Arista Records when I was 16 years old. And then my first album I put out was called Goodies. And I not only sold 3 to 4, but I sold 5 million albums. And the 3rd goal was to have longevity. And I'm really a believer, and I say all that, proudly, but also in a humble way as well. There's just something to the power of manifestation. When you speak, you have a chance. I always say this: when you speak, you have a chance to tell your life story. So when you speak, say great things. There's life and death in the tongue. If you say what you want to be, you declare what you want to be, you envision it, you write it down, you make it become real, right? So it all goes back to the concept of compass. Like the way that I thrive and excel in my world is continually checking in with my compass and continually staying focused on the things that matter the most to me. And making sure, most importantly, I'm doing what I love. If it doesn't feel comfortable, if it doesn't feel good to me, I'm kicking it off the list. I'm not wasting my time. And I just try to balance all of the blessings that I have. I'm really blessed, and I do love, I love being mom. That's like my most favorite job of all, I will say. But I also love doing my thing. So it's organized chaos. It's a balancing act of it all, but I'm committed to the things that I love that make me happy. And that's how I figured it all out, so yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for being an awesome audience, hanging out with us, asking great questions.
You audience.
I want to thank all of you for being here, making time to hang out with us, and tell us about this amazing show that we all can't wait to see this Friday. Congratulations again. It is fantastic. I'm excited for everyone else to watch it so we can talk about it. Yes, make some noise Friday at 7 on Nickelodeon and everywhere else. Keep going louder than that, because this is Ciara, that's Debbie Gibson, that's David Dobrik, and that's Nick Lachey.
Thank you, guys.